Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. We have another Christmas tree farm visit. David Sorenson has invited me, graciously allowed me to come out and see his farm. So this is part 2 of my interview with Dave Sorenson, who went from not owning any Christmas trees to in a couple years purchasing multiple farms and now has 100,000 established Christmas trees. The interview was long, so I'm going to break it up into multiple smaller sections. I've already posted part 1. This is part 2, and expect 3, 4, and maybe even 5 in the next coming days. In this episode, we're going to talk about layered nobles, shipping to California and the price he gets there and in Hawaii, the demand for big trees, and just different things that he's learned along the way. You mentioned you have not enough big trees. But
Correct.
You also, earlier in a conversation, you mentioned that you probably have more trees than you can sell this year. So
Yeah.
one problem is kind of going to be answering the other.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, so our plan is to start growing our own tall trees. It just takes years, and so we're going to set aside trees to let them get tall.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm just looking for other farms, even if it's a small farm, if they have some tall trees, even if it's 5 or 10. Sometimes, because even the people that want tall trees, they're only asking for 20, 30 of them. Because
Right.
not in California, a 12 to 14 foot tree sells for about $1,000.
Wow.
So, but not all of your customers are going to drop $1,000 on a tree, but the ones
Correct.
that are, you kind of need to have them there, because then they're going to go to your farm every year for their tree. So we probably sold in Chino, we probably sold 30 tall trees last year, and I probably wouldn't take more than 30, but 30 for each lot that we're shipping to.
Right.
It's not a ton of trees, but it allows you to sell a lot more of your 7/8s and 6/7s and tabletops, the whole shebang.
So with that strategy, just looking down this row, your trees are about 5 feet apart by 6 feet, something like that?
Yeah, we typically plant them 5.5 feet apart.
Yeah.
And then when we harvest, we try to strategically open up so they don't get too crowded.
Yeah.
And yeah.
In a perfect world, you'd be able to go every other one.
Yeah.
But they don't grow for you like that. Yeah.
No, and one year you'll have a tree will be a number 2, and if you let it go another year, it'll be a number 1 the next year. And so, because most of our customers are pretty picky about them being really nice number 1 trees.
Okay, that brings up another point. And I've looked into this briefly, but because I'm a U-cut farmer, I haven't had to worry about it. What the customer wants is what they want. They go out and pick a tree, and if it's number 1, 2, or 3, I mean, I had someone pick a tree that I was going to cut down and just get rid of.
Yep.
And they're like, no, this is what I want. That's the beautiful thing about being a U-cut farmer, is you can leave just about anything out there, and because we have a good enough customer base, somebody wants it. Mm-hmm. But when you're rating trees and going down, what is the rating scale? Can you briefly go through how you would rate a tree, like maybe some of these right here?
So a number 1 tree.
So this is like a number 1.
This would be a number 1. So they want the shape, they want a nice straight top, they want it full without a lot of big holes.
Right.
And it needs to be that way all the way around. A number 1 can also have one blemish on one side, just a little blemish, because you can rotate the tree. So you have a little bit of grace there. It doesn't have to be perfect because it is a tree.
Right.
And it's not fake, and so it gives a little character. It is funny though, a lot of our customers on the retail side, because I ran that retail lot for a month, a lot of them want trees with character. So when I am grading number 1s, I do pick out some that have little imperfections here and there, because there's actually people that are looking for that. They want a tree that's a little wonky.
Yeah.
And so so I do like to have a little of that down there. And there is some people, like with the nobles, they want big spaces between their layers.
Yeah.
They don't want one that looks like a bush. So you kind of have to, when you're grading these things, you kind of have to factor that in a little bit, because there is a customer for all of those trees, but you also don't want them to unload the truck and they're all Charlie Brown trees.
Yeah. So. You mentioned the shelves. So my grandpa is a Christmas tree farmer. That's how I got my original interest in it. As he got older, I helped him. But he sold a lot of nobles, did really well. But back then, I don't know if it was just the shearing. I'm looking into it. He said it was more the seed source, but we always had a tree that had a nice shelf and then 6 to 8 inches and a nice shelf and maybe maybe even a foot. But that's what I grew up with. And, you know, we could hang the icicle ornaments on them and they didn't lay on it. And I'm getting people that are asking for those.
Yep.
But
I think
it seems like...
I think it is a seed source.
Yeah, I think most of the growers or the nurseries are growing trees from a seed source that have the branches that grow out laterally, then they kind of go up vertically and they fill in beautifully like this.
Right.
But then you don't get the shelves.
100%.
And so that is something, any of you out there that know how I can get a truly shelved, I know shearing not as much helps allow for that, but even when I don't shear the tree at all, it doesn't come close to what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm trying to remember, you know, my grandpa's passed away now, but I think he was saying that he got a seed source from somewhere on the other side of Mount St. Helens. Mm-hmm. And that's how he got those trees. Whereas most of ours seem like they're coming from Oregon.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's something I've been in this 23 years. I'm still trying to figure this one out. Yeah.
I do think where you're getting your trees from really has a lot to do with it. Yeah. And I do think there's areas where they grow other trees that they're not in the nurseries in this area. So
yeah. Okay, speaking of still learning things, in your first 3 years, you mentioned you felt like you're drinking from a fire hose.
Yes.
Just or however you want to do it, some of the key things that you've learned, some of the things that you think you did well from the beginning and you're proud of, and things that, man, I should have done this differently.
Well, I have been very fortunate. The guy that I bought the farms from, he has been in the business forever. And so he has been, this is what you got to do at this step. This is what you got to do at that step. So it hasn't been too, I mean, I've had all the information there. So I haven't really had to learn anything the hard way. It's been more of an eye opener as far as like, I didn't realize how much went into it. Yeah. And, you know, as far as you need to be, right now in the middle of the summer is when you need to be doing your sales. And then that way when harvest time comes around, you know exactly what's going where. And then as soon as you have your numbers, then the crews have to go out in the field and tag the trees. So you know if you have those counts. Because if somebody says, hey, I want 2006-7 Nordmanns, number ones, well, you have 2,000, but they're not always number ones. And so they've got to go out there and they'll say, well, you only have 500 in this field. And so then you have to make sure you have what the customer's ordering. And then you need to go back to them and say, hey, I know you wanted 1,000 of those, but we only have 600. So do you want to do a different size or do you want a different species? Right. And so it does help to have other sources if you need to. Like the guy I bought the farms from, he bought a bunch of trees from me last year to fulfill orders that he had. And then there were some trees that I needed that he had. So I bought some trees. So that's kind of how it works. So it's helpful to know people in the business that you can reach out to and say, hey, I'm short this, but I've got extra of this.
It's good to have those relationships, for sure.
Yeah.
And connections. So even with your connections, have you had an order you haven't been able to fill, or you were able to find it yourself?
So far, I've had luck with that. So we don't have a ton of grands in the ground, and we have customers that want grands, and so I was able to source some grands. And then the tall trees, last year I had to buy a bunch of tall trees, and fortunately I was able to find them. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm on the hunt for this year.
So between all your lots, how many trees 10 feet or taller total are you looking for?
I'm probably looking for a couple hundred. Yeah, that's probably all I need this year. Okay. But even if I can get them 10 at a time, it's worth it for me. Yeah. So, yeah, probably just a couple hundred out of the 10,000 that will be. Well, we probably aren't going to ship 10,000 this year. That's what I want to target. But we'll probably be closer to 9,000.
Okay, so you're probably.
It's not
with your goal of 10,000, you're probably going to try to make a few more connections on a couple more lots, not a ton more, but try to.
I'd like to add 2 or 3 more lots.
Yeah,
and it all depends on how many trees those lots sell. Mm-hmm. But if we had 3 more good lots, and one of my customers that I have, he actually has 3 lots in Oakland, and they sell 6,000 trees between all 3 of their lots. I'm just not, I supplied him about 1,200 trees last year, so 2 trucks. And I'm hoping to get more of his business. So it'd be nice to end up with all of his business, but he's had farms that he's worked with for years, and so he wants to be loyal to people he's worked with, and I respect that.
Yeah. Okay, that brings up another point. So you bought a little bit of land, you bought a whole bunch of leases, you have all these trees. Did a lot of these connections to lots come with the lease? I mean, or did you have to, all of them you had to create?
I had to go create them, yeah.
Okay, all of them.
Yeah, and like I said, the guy that I purchased the farms from, he sells to a lot of lots and a lot of retailers. But I don't have any of his contacts because they're his, obviously. So fortunately, my cousin, that's part of what spurred me into this, is my cousin has had a retail lot in California for years. I have another friend that their family has those 3 lots in Oakland. And so they would go down every December and work at those lots. And they were telling me, yeah, we sell so many trees down there and this is what we're getting for them. So I had a little bit, it wasn't like I just jumped into the tree business blind. I kind of knew how the business worked as far as the retail side. And so that's, with those connections, that also gave me a source to start selling trees.
Yep.
So my cousin he sells 2,000 every year. And so I was able to get his business. And I picked up another lot that was about 30 minutes from his lot that's been established for over 20 years down there. So it's an established lot that we purchased. So I knew I had those 4,000 trees. And then I've just been working on other customers. And then Tony bought a bunch of trees from me last year too. So that's what got us to that number last year, about 7,000.
We will continue with part 3 of this interview in a couple days. In the meantime, check out my playlist of Christmas tree videos. I have over 100 videos on Christmas tree farming. Thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching and cleaning horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion. Hope to see you again soon. Be blessed, everyone.